You say yes when you mean no. You apologize for things you didn't do. You help people who wouldn't cross the street for you. And you call this being a good person. Here's what it actually is. A strategic failure so profound that everyone around you, your boss, your colleagues, your own family, has learned to disrespect you by default. Not because you're worthless, but because you've trained them that your time, your energy, your attention costs nothing. Machiavelli understood something 500 years ago that you still haven't learned. The Prince, chapter 17. Better to be feared than loved. You know this quote. Everyone knows this quote, but you don't know what it actually means. It doesn't mean be cruel. It means stop being available. It means scarcity creates value. It means the moment you try to please everyone, you become useful to everyone and important to no one. You're about to see how deep this goes. There's a pattern you've been running your entire adult life. You think it makes you likable. You think it makes you safe. You think if you just give enough, help enough, accommodate enough, people will finally see your value. They see it. They just don't respect it. Because value without scarcity is called abundance. And abundant things are cheap. You've made yourself cheap, not in character, in availability, and the market has responded accordingly. Let me show you exactly how this mechanism works. Not the Instagram quote version, the surgical reality that separates men who command respect from men who beg for it. By the end of this, you'll understand why the people you've helped the most respect you the least, and why the solution isn't to become an asshole, it's to become expensive. Niccolo Machiavelli wrote The Prince in exile, tortured, betrayed, removed from power by the very family he'd served. And in that isolation, he saw something the comfortable never see. The mechanics of respect have nothing to do with goodness. Chapter 15, he writes this: a man who wishes to act entirely virtuously soon comes to grief among so many who are not virtuous. Listen to that again. Comes to grief, not gets overlooked. Grief. Because when you operate with unconditional generosity in a world that operates on leverage, you don't just lose, you get erased, used up, forgotten while you're still standing there waiting for reciprocity that will never come. Machiavelli wasn't teaching cruelty. He was teaching sovereignty, the sovereignty of selective investment. He says the prince must learn when not to be good, not never be good, when not to be, strategic withholding, because constant goodness trains people to expect your resources without earning access. You think you're being kind. You're actually being weak, and everyone knows the difference. Here's the test. Think about the last 5 times you said yes when you wanted to say no. Not I was happy to help. The times you said yes and felt that small death inside, that contraction, that quiet rage at yourself for not having a boundary. You remember those moments? Now ask yourself, did those people respect you more afterward, or did they just ask you for more? The answer reveals everything, because what Machiavelli understood is why generosity, real generosity, only works when it's rare, and why your constant availability is the reason you're constantly overlooked. When you're always available, always helpful, always the go-to person, you create a psychological phenomenon called habituation. The brain stops valuing what it can predict, what it can access without effort, what costs nothing. You've become predictable. Predictable means safe. Safe means powerless. This is the mechanism. Step 1. You help someone without being asked. Maybe you stay late, cover their work, solve their problem. You feel good, you feel needed. Step 2. They thank you, genuine gratitude. You've added value. This feels like connection. Step 3. 2 weeks later, they ask again. Smaller request this time. You say yes immediately. Why wouldn't you? You're helpful. Step 4. The requests increase. The gratitude decreases. You've trained them that your yes is automatic. Step 5. They stop asking. They start assuming. Can you handle this? Becomes, you'll handle this. The question mark disappears. Step 6. You finally say no, and they're not just disappointed. They're offended, angry. You always help, why not now? You violated an expectation you created. This is the trap. You think you're building social capital. You're actually building obligation infrastructure where you're the only one obligated. Machiavelli saw this pattern in the courts of Florence. Princes who gave freely, who tried to please every faction, who made themselves endlessly available. They didn't last. They were consumed, overthrown, forgotten. Don't give people the answer immediately. Don't solve the problem before they've sat with it. Don't make yourself so available that your presence loses weight. Suspense creates value. Anticipation creates respect. Scarcity, strategic, intentional scarcity, creates the psychological conditions for appreciation. You're afraid of this. You're afraid that if you're not immediately helpful, people will think you're cold, selfish, an asshole. So you stay in the pattern, smile, say yes, die inside, and wonder why no one takes you seriously. Here's what you don't understand. The people who respect you most are the ones who had to earn your time, not the ones you gave it to freely, not the ones you chased, the ones who had to wait, wonder, work for access. Because effort creates value in the human mind. What costs nothing is worth nothing. What requires patience, persuasion, proof, that becomes precious. And this is where it gets dangerous. Because you're about to see the 3 specific behaviors you're doing right now, today, that are destroying any chance you have at being respected. Behavioral kill. Number 1, over-explanation. You don't just say no, you justify, apologize, give reasons, offer alternatives. I can't help with that because I have 3 other projects and my daughter has a recital, and actually I've been feeling overwhelmed and maybe next week. But also I should mention, stop. Every word after no is you negotiating with someone who already got their answer. You're not being considerate, you're being weak, and they hear it. Machiavelli understood this. When you over-explain, you signal that your no is fragile, challengeable, that if they push hard enough, apply enough guilt, frame it the right way, you'll break. And they're right. So they push. Not because they're malicious, because you've taught them your boundaries are decorative. Here's what powerful people do. I can't. That doesn't work for me. No, period, full stop, no apology tour. The discomfort you feel when you do this, that's not rudeness, that's sovereignty. You're feeling what it's like to own a boundary instead of renting it from other people's approval. But that's not the worst one. The second behavior is why your boss will never promote you. Behavioral kill number 2. Preemptive giving. You offer help before it's requested. You volunteer for extra work. You solve problems that aren't yours because you want to be valuable. This looks like initiative. It's actually self-sabotage. When you give without being asked, you create a psychological dynamic where the receiver feels no debt, no obligation, no gratitude. Because they didn't request it, you imposed your service on them. You think you're being proactive. They think you're desperate for validation. And they're right. Here's the mechanism. When someone asks you for help, they've admitted need. They've acknowledged you have something they lack. That creates a power dynamic where you're elevated. When you offer help without being asked, you've admitted need. The need to be needed. The need to prove your worth. That creates a power dynamic where you're diminished. Same action, opposite power structure. This is why your colleague who does half the work gets promoted while you, who does everyone's work, stay exactly where you are. They make their help scarce and valuable. You make yours abundant and cheap. Machiavelli wrote about this in chapter 8. A prince who tries to buy loyalty through excessive generosity ends up broke and despised. Because people don't value what they didn't earn. Stop volunteering. Stop preemptively solving. Stop trying to demonstrate your value through unlimited availability. Let them ask. Let them wonder if you'll say yes. Let them experience what it's like to need something you're not sure they can access. That's when respect begins. But the third behavioral kill, this is the one that's keeping you stuck in every relationship you have. Behavioral kill number 3, apologizing for existence. Sorry to bother you. Just wanted to quickly check. I know you're busy, but sorry for the long email. You apologize for taking up space, for having needs, for existing in a way that might inconvenience someone. This isn't politeness. It's preemptive surrender. You're negotiating from a position of assumed inferiority before the interaction even starts. And the other person, even if they're not conscious of it, accepts the frame. You, sorry to bother you, but do you have a minute? What they hear: I acknowledge my request is an imposition, and your time is more valuable than mine, and I'm grateful you might lower yourself to acknowledge me. You've already lost. Don't broadcast your insecurity. Don't announce your uncertainty. Don't preemptively apologize for having standards or needs or taking up the space you're entitled to. When you apologize for existing, you teach people to wish you didn't. Here's what you do instead. Do you have a minute? I need this by Thursday. Here's what I'm thinking. No sorry, no just. No hedging language that signals you don't believe you deserve the interaction. Directness without apology is called confidence. And confidence, not niceness, is what generates respect. Machiavelli never apologized for his insights. He stated them clearly, without hedging. And 500 years later, we're still reading him now. You're seeing the pattern. You're seeing how these behaviors compound into a personality structure where respect becomes impossible. But here's what you haven't seen yet: why this is actually worse than you think. You want to be liked, so you please everyone. And in pleasing everyone, you become liked by everyone and respected by no one. This is the paradox. Likability and respect are not the same currency. They're often inversely correlated. The more you optimize for one, the more you sacrifice the other. Machiavelli wrote this explicitly in chapter 19. A prince should avoid being despised and hated, but he doesn't need to be loved. In fact, being loved is dangerous because love requires maintenance, constant performance. You must keep earning it. Fear and respect are self-sustaining. Once established, they require minimal reinforcement. People respect boundaries even when you're not enforcing them. They fear consequences even when you're not threatening them. But love demands constant feeding, constant proof, constant availability, and you're exhausted. You've been optimizing for love, for approval, for he's such a good guy, and you got it. Everyone likes you. You're nice, helpful, always there when you need him. But when decisions are made, promotions, leadership, who gets the opportunity, you're not in the room. You're too busy being helpful somewhere else while people who actually set boundaries are making choices. This is what people-pleasing costs. Not just your time, not just your energy, your position in every hierarchy you're part of. Because hierarchies, whether you like them or not, are built on perceived value. And perceived value comes from scarcity, not abundance. You think you're being moral, you're actually being strategic, just with the wrong strategy. Generosity is a weapon. Kindness is a tool. Helpfulness is leverage. But only when it's selective. Only when it costs the recipient something to access. Only when no is a real possibility. And this is where most men make the fatal error. They hear this and think, so I should become cold, distant, an asshole. No, that's not what Machiavelli taught. The move is more sophisticated than that. The difference isn't cruelty, it's intentionality. One man reacts immediately, reflexively. His yes is automatic, which means it's worthless. Another man responds deliberately after consideration. His yes, if it comes, is a decision, which means it has weight. This is the reframe. You're not becoming less generous. You're becoming strategically generous. Machiavelli doesn't say, never be good. He says, learn when not to be good. The timing, the context, the recipient, not forever, but long enough that your decision carries weight. Long enough that people understand access to you is earned, not assumed. Here's the framework. Tier 1, immediate yes reserved for people who've earned unlimited access. Family in crisis, true friends, people who've proven reciprocity. This tier should have 3 to 5 people in it, maybe less. Tier 2, considered yes, most people, most requests. You don't say no, you say, let me think about it. You create space. You evaluate whether this serves you, them, or both. If it's only them and they haven't earned that, the answer is no. Tier 3, default no energy vampires, takers, People who've proven they don't respect your time. You don't explain. You don't justify. That doesn't work for me. Move on. The mistake you've been making is treating everyone like Tier 1. You give Tier 1 access to people who belong in Tier 3, and they drain you. Not because they're evil, because you let them. This isn't about being cold. It's about being clear. Clear about who has earned access. Clear about what your time is worth. Clear that no is a complete sentence and requires no apology. This is what Machiavelli meant by strategic virtue, not the absence of generosity, the precision of it. Now here's where this gets practical, because you're about to walk into situations tomorrow where this will be tested, and you need to know exactly what to do. Scenario 1, the morning ambush. You arrive at work. Before you've even sat down, a colleague, "Hey, can you help me with something real quick?" Your old response, "Sure, what do you need?" The response Machiavelli would recognize, "I've got something I need to finish first. What time works this afternoon?" You didn't say no. You established that your priority comes first. You made them wait, which creates value. If it's actually urgent, they'll say so. If it's not, they'll either handle it themselves or wait. Either way, you've established that access to your time requires coordination, not assumption. Scenario 2, the guilt trap. Someone asks for help. You say you can't. They respond, "But you always help. I really need this." Your old response, apologize, backtrack. Find a way to help even though you don't want to. The Machiavellian response, "I know. That's why I'm being more selective now." No explanation beyond that. No apology. You've acknowledged the pattern and announced it's changing. They'll test it once or twice more. When you hold the line, they'll stop. Not because they respect you less, because they respect you more. Scenario 3, the preemptive strike. You see a problem. You know how to fix it. Your instinct, jump in and solve it before anyone asks. Your old response, fix it. Feel good about yourself. Wait for recognition that never comes. The strategic response, let it sit. See if someone asks. If they do, help, and it feels valuable. If they don't, it wasn't your problem. This feels uncomfortable. It should. You're breaking a pattern you've run for years. But here's what happens. When you stop preemptively solving everyone's problems, you discover most of those problems weren't yours. And the ones that are, people will ask. And when they ask, your help means something. Scenario 4, the apology reflex. You need to send an email. Your instinct, sorry for the long message. Your old response, apologize preemptively for existing. The clear response, just send the information. No apology, no hedging. Your message has value or it doesn't. Don't apologize for delivering it. Watch what happens when you stop apologizing for taking up space. People stop treating your communication as optional. Your requests get taken seriously. Your boundaries hold. Not because you're being aggressive, because you're being unapologetic about existing. You'll lose people in this transition. The energy vampires, the takers who relied on your automatic yes. They'll call you different, changed, not as nice as you used to be. Good, they're noticing the boundary, and they don't like it because it cuts off their supply. Let them go. They were never respecting you anyway. The people who stay, the ones who adapt, those are the relationships worth having because they're not based on your unlimited availability. They're based on actual reciprocity. Machiavelli learned this the hard way. The people he served without limit were the first to betray him. The ones who had to earn his counsel, they remembered him 5 centuries later. But there's one environment where this entire framework collapses. And if you don't know what it is, you'll sabotage everything you just learned. Here's the environment where selective generosity fails. When you're in a position of no power, if you're entry-level, brand new, genuinely building reputation, you can't lead with scarcity. You haven't earned it yet. Machiavelli knew this. The prince isn't written for peasants. It's written for people who already have some leverage. So if you're starting from zero, the strategy is different. Give strategically, not to everyone. To the people who can elevate you, help your boss, help the decision maker, help the person whose respect opens doors. But even then, even in that position, don't give without limit. Help them once. Do it exceptionally. Then make the second time cost something. Even if it's just their explicit request, make them ask. Because the moment they stop asking and start assuming, even from a position of low power, you've lost. You've been running a pattern your entire life. Say yes, please everyone, be available, be nice, and wonder why the people you sacrifice for don't respect the sacrifice. Here's why. Sacrifice without scarcity is called waste. You've been wasting yourself on people who didn't earn access, and calling it kindness. It wasn't kindness. It was fear. Fear of being disliked. Fear of being seen as selfish. Fear of not being needed. And that fear made you cheap. Machiavelli wrote The Prince to teach one lesson above all others. Respect is a market. And in that market, your value is determined by your scarcity, not your absence, your selectivity. Tomorrow morning, someone will ask you for something, and you'll feel the reflex, the automatic yes, the need to be helpful. And in that moment, you'll have a choice. Run the old pattern, say yes, feel that small death inside, and train them one more time that your time costs nothing. Or pause, consider, and respond, not react from a position of sovereignty. The people who respect you most are the ones who had to earn your time. Stop giving it away.